So welcome back. We're now starting our second theme of the day, which is scaling business agility beyond IT. We're going to have some sessions on scaling business agility beyond IT. We'll have a panel on enabling agility with technology and an innovation lab by VMware on remote work made simple. But to start off this theme, I'd like to introduce you to Dennis Bork, who's going to be giving a talk on scaling business agility beyond IT. Dennis.
Thank you, Ola, for your introduction. A warm welcome, everybody. My name is Dennis Bork. I'm Consulting Manager at ISG from Germany, and I'm leading the ISG Enterprise Agility Solution in Europe. Today's session is about scaling business agility beyond IT. And we heard from Ola and Ahmed how important it is to set your business in the center of your doing. In today's session, we want to focus on 4 core topics. First is, what are the major challenges in scaling agility across the whole organization? Then we want to focus on the differences of being agile instead of only doing agile and why it is important to be successful in both. Then we go to the key success factors for scaling and moving towards more being agile. And just to give you a preview, it's all about your employees and their organization culture. And finally, as a summary, the essentials which are supporting you to scale agility across the whole organization. We as ISG perceive 5 major issues during the transformation which blocks enterprises to scale agility across the whole enterprise. Agility often works in smaller departments with a handful of teams, in pilots or lighthouse projects as well. But if it comes to the whole organization, enterprises struggle to keep the momentum and flow of transformation, especially the drive of the employees. Within the whole organization, you have to think about governance structure, overall alignment, dependencies between the teams, and so on and so forth. But why enterprises struggle to scale? Is Agile only applicable in smaller enterprises or just a handful of teams? Yeah, the answer is definitely no. But companies often underestimate or don't even address the cultural change of such a transformation. The technical and restructuring part with implementing an agile DevOps toolchain and new organization structures as well are well addressed and planned. But implementing an organizational change management, which takes care of topics like an overall change story, an appropriate stakeholder analysis, a tailored stakeholder communication and the communication plan, or an entire enablement assessment to identify training needs are often not addressed very well. And as I said in the beginning, Agile is all about your employees. A second challenge then is the lack of collaboration between business and IT, where clients often tap in. The willingness to collaborate needs to be ensured from both parties. In the digital age, business departments realizing more and more that IT is a crucial success factor for their outcome and performance. But also IT, on the other hand side, needs a better understanding about the business outcome and its value contribution, rather than thinking over and over about technology. It's fair to say that the lack of collaboration between business stakeholders and IT increasingly hinders the ability to achieve desired business results from technology initiatives. A third challenge where large enterprises frequently struggle with is the legacy infrastructure and tightly coupled application architecture. Most applications are running on on-premise data centers and are heavily coupled to each other. Any change in an application or its infrastructure has a huge impact on others. To scale Agile across the enterprise, develop a loosely coupled architecture with a hybrid infrastructure consisting of cloud as well as on-premise solution. And you have to realize that technical dependencies within an organization hinders Agile teams to be successful because they are not able to achieve their goals. They are dependent on others. And with agility in enterprises, the leadership style has to change. Teams often feel not empowered to make decisions. In agile ways of working, the teams needs to decide on operational changes, work priority based on backlog priority, and on the solution design, because they are responsible for the solution and they build it. Leaders frequently fall into their old role model, especially if failure or major incidents occur. the common hierarchy nature of decision structure can completely negate the team's empowerment to make the right decisions. You as a leader must ensure that you give the teams the freedom to make decisions, even if they are made mistakes. A strong change management capability can support here to prevent that challenge. And finally, enterprises are struggling to implement an appropriate failure culture. If the teams do not get the chance to learn from their failures, they have no chance to evolve. You as a leader have the responsibility to build an open and trusted environment where failures are accepted and achievements are rewarded. The majority of challenges, as you can see, are relying on cultural aspects and not on the technical ones. I think this demonstrates quite well that agile ways of working are more than just the delivery process. The process part is all about doing agile and build the foundation for applying agile ways of working. It's about introducing the agile ceremonies like the sprint planning, a review, a retrospective, or chapters or guilds. It's about adapting the right agile methodologies like Scrum, Kanban for the team level, or Say for Less for the organization level, and when to select which methodology best. Doing agile is also changing the organization structure and their processes or governance. This builds the foundation with a set of tools for scaling. But enterprises also have to focus on being agile because this addresses then the more cultural aspect of scaling. Employees need to be empowered to apply the values and principles of agility in their daily work, to develop an agile mindset. It means that managers must continue to give up responsibility and decision power to their teams. The new leadership style enables teams to make decisions by their own and support with guidance during that process. The Future Organization Report, a European research study from the Institute of Information Management at the University of St. Gallen in Switzerland, and Campana and Schott, surveyed around 450 managers and employees and interviewed 21 top decision makers in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. In that study, most of the interviewed said that they focus with their enterprises of connecting doing agile with being agile. They realized that their employees are the key to be successful in that area. Around 70% of the survey said that highly agile enterprises can adjust products and services to a single customer easier and quicker. And just to highlight that, I select a quote from Inka Hilgenstock. She's Chief of Staff of Head Digitalization and Product from the Credit Suisse Bank. She said, "The Corona situation has been a reality check for us. Our already established agile team culture and a common objective have allowed us to successfully navigate through these special times." But how to become more being agile and achieve your scaling journey? We as ISG identify 6 key components to be successful in your journey to scale agility across the whole organization. First is establish teams with particular business or product focus and give them the end-to-end responsibility for their outcome. Let them define common objectives like a sprint goal, a sprint backlog, and the definition of them to get their buy-in. Next, as I often said today, and as we heard in our previous session, is to foster the collaboration between business and IT. Especially IT has to move closer to the business and has to understand their value proposition instead of focusing again and again on their own. Companies who achieved scaling already build up a trusted relationship between business and IT and achieve set goals together. Another key success factor is then to build highly skilled and small teams. The traditional approach to build functional teams around technologies needs to be revised. An agile principle is to focus on teams which are aligned to a specific business outcome and have the end-to-end responsibility for this. The composition of team is determined by the required skill for their outcome. Over time, team members will build up competencies in other areas. They will be T-shaped. So they have one core competency, like development, for example, but also learn to build on other competencies like testing, like operation, or even business process knowledge. So as the team member evolves, the team itself will evolve. The next key success factor is a more technical one. So it is a coordinated set of tools and techniques. Follow the rule, automate as much as possible, with automated testing, continuous integration and deployment, and so on. Scaled organization build specialized teams which are supporting the rest of the organization with these foundational tool chains. A harmonized tool chain will definitely support your agile journey. The last two key components to achieve scaling are strongly related to each other. The first is to demonstrate the right behavior as a leader. Create a culture of shared accountability. Support the organization with collaborative culture without silo thinking. Enterprises that have successfully scaled have moved away from their siloed hierarchies and behaviors to a more cross-team collaboration and ownership by using a shared accountability model. And last but not least, empower your teams to take ownership and let them make decisions. Enable a culture of continuous learning and improvement. Let the team make mistakes. Help them to find solutions without dictating. The new leadership style is about showing the way to go instead of moving ahead and let the team follow. You have to accept that this is a journey to achieve scaling. As we heard from Ahmed already, to become agile is more marathon than just a sprint, and you cannot use a shortcut for that. Reimer Paschke, leader of change management at Siemens here in Germany, said in the Future Organization report, the key learning is big changes require continuous involvement. So what is now the conclusion while scaling agile beyond IT? Be customer-oriented while not losing the focus on your employees and the development of their agile mindset. Foster the collaboration with your customer to really understand their behaviors and let them participate in the development process. This will evolve a product step by step instead of aiming for the perfect solution. Demonstrate with a minimal viable product solution to get direct feedback from your customer. This will foster the collaboration and let the customer be part of the whole development process. Scaling Agile is about a culture of continuous learning and improvement. Reflect your activities to understand what serves the customer needs and investigate what is most helpful from him while using an iterative approach. Support your team to look for ways which their work can be even done better. Agile is all about trust, transparency, and teaming. Be transparent in your daily work. Use daily stand-ups to get rid of impediments instead of trying to solve it by your own, and demonstrate respect for different perspectives within the team. Seek and provide active feedback. Be focused on in the different meetings. Don't talk about estimations in sprint plannings, for example. Estimations are made in a refinement. Next is support your employees in their process of self-organizing. Implement a culture of taking accountability for results in the teams and support this change process with guidance instead of rules. The new leadership style is about empowering your employees instead of making all the decisions by your own. And finally, build an environment of trust and openness where failures are accepted and honored to learn from them. Failures are part of our human being. Important is to learn from them. Such a transformation will need time. Don't expect to achieve that in weeks. It will cost you months or maybe years of extensive learning and adoption. Therefore, it's quite important to support such a change with a strong change management capability. If your employees evolve and improve, your journey to scale agility across your organization will be a success. For further information, I can recommend the ISG Momentum Report about the essentials of scaling DevOps. So thank you very much for your participation. My name is Dennis Bork. I'm Consulting Manager at ISG.